Hey everybody, welcome to the webinar. I'm going to get us kicked off in about 2 minutes after everyone has a chance to get in. All right, we'll get going here in the next 60 seconds or so. All right, so we have a few more people that will be trickling in here. I'm going to go ahead and kick things off. So we have a fun one for you today, everybody. I'm so glad that you could be here. We're going to be talking today about deep linking and driving people to your mobile application. First, some housekeeping real quick. I'm going to be the presenter today. My name is Andrew Triplett. I am the Director of Consulting here at Touchpoint. If you have any questions, we will have time at the end of our presentation today for Q&A. So over there in the Zoom module, if you'll just submit your questions there, Chris Dolan is going to be reviewing those. And at the end, during our Q&A session, Chris is going to be chiming in and helping get those answered. Chris, you want to say hello?
Hi, everyone.
All right. So with that, let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so here's the basic items that we're going to be covering today in our presentation. Deep linking, obviously, what is it? Use cases, how to, and then, like I said, we're going to finish up with some Q&A. All right, so let's define this. So what is deep linking? Now, deep linking is kind of a newer concept as we're getting more and more into this world of mobile applications. We are trying to guide people or direct people to the mobile app. So a deep link is a link that simply allows you to push people towards the app. The app has all these great features. Hopefully most of the people that are on the phone today have seen the app or have used the Touchpoint mobile application. But these links will help guide people to the app. If they don't have the app, it's going to provide methods for them to download the app. So we're going to be kind of talking through that here in a moment as well. Okay, so what does a deep link look like? How is it structured? This is the basic structure of a deep link. Your church, which of course is your Touchpoint database. So if this is First Baptist Church, they would be firstbaptistchurch.app.tpsdb.co. And that last portion there on the right-hand side is location within the app. So I'm going to be covering that here on the next slide. The URL can be customized. So if you want this to be modified, if you want it to be like a vanity URL, something like that, that is something that we can help with. There is a small fee associated with that. But if you'll email our support team and let them know, what the new link should be and where it should direct, then we can help get that set up for you. All right. So here's some examples of some of the deep links that we provide. And we're going to be going through some of these, and hopefully this will be a little bit interactive here in just a few moments, where you'll actually get a chance to try some of these out. But for example, profile information, that one that at the top, that's going to guide people to the app so they can update their profile. This is a huge benefit because it's going to get you nice, good, clean data in your database, and it's a super easy process for them. Profile family, that takes them to their family page so they can actually update their family members' information. giving history, one-page giving, so we can drive people to the giving page. And since they're coming through the app, the system knows who they are. If they have a saved payment method, it's going to allow them to use that saved payment method. So it really expedites that giving process and helps them give more quickly. I think we've clocked that process at like 5 seconds, something like that. If they have a saved payment method, it is super, super easy. Yeah? All right. So what if they click on a link? What if they click on a deep link on a website? So we're going to be talking about kind of where these are coming from and what this looks like here in just a moment. But for now, what if someone clicks on demo.app.tpsdb.com from a website and they're not on a mobile device? Well, these links are smart enough to say, okay, we see that you are on a PC, on a Mac, so we're not going to take you to the App Store. We're going to take you to this page, which you actually have the ability to customize. I'll talk about that in just a moment. But you have the ability to customize these so that you can then guide people to like the Google Play Store, the App Store, to download your app. Okay? Like I said, that page can be customized. We have that in the help documentation. So take a look at our help documentation for information on how to modify that. All right, so let's take a look at one of these deep links. So the first one I'm going to talk about here is this one-page giving link. Now, what's so cool about these links, and this is actually something we just rolled out very recently, is that the deep links are now smart enough to know what device you are using. Okay, so I'm going to exit presenter mode here for just a second and go back to my browser. Now this is a deep link. See, it has that structure of a deep link, my demo database, app.tpsdb.com. So in theory, it's guiding to the app. But watch what happens when on my Mac here, I use the browser to go to that link. The system updates the link automatically and says, hey, you know what, you're not on a mobile device, and it takes you directly to that one-page giving page. Now, watch what happens when I click on that link from a mobile device. All right, so I have my mobile device pulled up right here. I'm going to go to my text messages here. And there's that same link, believe it or not, right there, where it says my ARC, Touchpoint Church. I'm going to tap on that. And that guides to the app and then directly to one-page giving, all from a mobile experience. Since I have saved payment type, or if I had a saved payment type, that would be pulled in automatically because the app knows who I am. So what this means for you all is that in theory, you're going to have the opportunity, the ability to change out the online giving link on your page. So most churches, 99% of churches, have an online giving link on their homepage, on their website. And right now, it's just designed for web page giving. But you could change that. You could modify that to use this giving link, a deep link. The system is smart enough to know where to go. Okay. Now, some of these links, I'm just going to go back for just 1 second. Some of these links, for example, registrations landing page. There's no equivalent. There's no equivalent there for like a website. That is something that is specific to the app. So if it's a link that's specific to the app, that's the scenario in which it would go to this page where you're going to have then an opportunity to download the application. Okay. All right. So now we're going to talk about some use cases, some real life use cases. Download the app, mobile giving, update profile, register for events, taking attendance, and then much more. So there's a lot that can be done with this. And hopefully we're going to get some participation from you all today to try some of these out with us. Where do you use deep links? Before I get to the use cases, where do you use these? How do people get to a deep link? Well, a couple methods. Emails, that's going to be kind of a no-brainer. Statistically, people more and more are using their mobile device to view their emails. So since they're already on a mobile device, if we're using deep links, then we're going to keep pushing them and guiding them to our mobile application. And as you're about to see, if they don't have the app, they can download it. We're going to show you that in just 1 second. Text message. Hopefully everyone has been enjoying the new the new enhanced SMS features within Touchpoint. If you haven't had a chance to take a look at those, it is extremely powerful. Chris did a webinar very recently, I think last week or maybe a week before, dedicated to those SMS features. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, take a look. But now you can text from the system, so we can be sending deep links from text messages. All right, and then finally, website. Just like I discussed just a moment ago, the ability to place a deep link on your website, and the link is smart enough to take people to the appropriate page, whether it's a web page on the PC or within the mobile app. Okay. All right. So use case number one: download the app. Trying to build adoption, get people into the app. You know, one thing that we talk about a lot here at Touchpoint is your website. That's kind of the billboard to the world. Everyone that wants to come check out your church is going to go to your website. But then for those members, those folks who are already invested, already kind of bought in, a lot of them are going to go to they're going to download the app, because that's where you're going to have a lot of functionality and features just for those folks. So we want to drive adoption of the app. So I'm going to show it on the screen here. On the left-hand side is a nice mobile responsive email that we put together using the email builder. Again, hopefully that's something that you've had a chance to kind of play around with, is that email builder. But I can send out this email and then say, hey, go ahead and download our app. So we have a special deep link that's going to do that. And let's give that a shot right now. So let's try it out. So I'm going to kind of pause here for just 1 second. And if you would, go ahead and please text the word app to 901-446-2466. So that's a phone number that we purchased from Twilio. So I'm going to do that along with you, so we can all do this together. So I'm going to exit presenter mode here. Okay, so I can show you my phone screen. Here's my text messaging tool on my iPhone. I'm going to text the word app. And here in just 1 second. And now this is a part of our new SMS features. And there it is. So we got that response back to me. Now I can select demo at app.tpsd.com. And now for me, I of course already have the app downloaded, but for you, you're going to have a little bit different experience, because it's very unlikely you don't have our demo app pulled up just yet. But go ahead and get yourself logged in, because I want you to see what that login process is like as well. And I think you'll be excited to see that there is no like username and password. Go ahead and, if you would, use the email address or phone number that you used to register for this webinar. Some of you did use a phone number. Most of you just used an email address. So go ahead, go ahead and use your email address to get yourself logged in, just so you can kind of get a feel for what that new login process looks like. All right. So each of you should have an account in our mobile device, or in our mobile app. So now we're going to go on to the next use case. So we're going to talk about mobile giving. All right. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to take a look at this as well. Of course, you don't have any giving within our demo database, but I do want you to kind of get a feel and get a sense for what these new pages look like. So over on the left-hand side, we have the first page that someone comes to when they go to their giving history. We've revamped these pages, so now they can see 2020, they can go backwards, 2019, 2018, so you can see all their giving history, and then they can see both a summary and a detail view. So that's what I'm showing here over in the screenshot on the left-hand side. If I were to click on summary, I can swap that out to detail, okay? And then I can also generate my own giving statement from here. So let's give that a try now. So if you would, text give to that same phone number, 901-446-2466. I'm going to do this with you so we can all see this together. give. And here in just 1 second, I will get that response. There we go. All right, so I tap on that. It takes me directly into the application, to the page that I wanted to be on. There's my 2020 giving. If I had giving before 2020, I could go back and see that. I could again see my giving detail and giving summary. Okay. All right. All right. So that's giving. All right. Update profile. So this, I kind of alluded to this one at the beginning. This is maybe one of the more, one of my favorite of the different options here, because your database, or a database in general, needs to have good, clean data in it. The more clean our data is, the more useful that tool will be to us, especially from a ministry perspective. You can't really minister to people that you don't know. So if you have a whole bunch of records that are first name Bob, last name question mark, there's not a lot that we can do with that. So now with the mobile application, we can give people an opportunity to get in there and give us good, clean information. They can update their email. They can update their physical address if they've moved. A lot of times at bigger churches, we don't know when someone has moved. So giving them an opportunity to update their information. So what I'm showing here, a few of the screenshots on the screen, of course, information where I can update my own info, and then the family pages where I can actually update my family's information as well. Okay, so one more time here, we're going to give an opportunity to try this out. So this time, text update to that same phone number. We'll do this together. Okay. So text update. I should get a response in just 1 second. All right, and that takes me directly to my information within the app. Now all I have to do is hit edit, and then I can set this information. Maybe my goes by name would be Drew, and I'm done. Okay. All right, so that's the update feature. All right, just a couple more use cases here, then we're going to be opening up for questions. The next one here, register for events. Goes without saying that this is an extremely powerful tool. I spoke with a church this morning that was having some trouble because their email, or excuse me, the registration process, they felt like it was taking too long. So we talked about the ability now within the mobile app, because they launched their mobile app, to send out a link via text message, a deep link. Now someone clicks on that link and then boom, takes them directly to the registration form. The app knows who they are. They don't have to have a username and password, because if they get logged in using either a phone number or email address, which all of us know our own phone number and email address, we can go ahead and get ourselves logged in. If I have a saved payment type on file, that's going to be there. I just make my selections, and then I am done with the registration process. Okay? And then finally, lastly here, is attendance. The last use case that I want to mention is attendance. So this is a huge benefit. This is something that you can send to your teachers. Once everyone's back together again, and we have life groups and Sunday school classes, and those are happening again, you will have the ability to send a text message, to send a deep link to someone and allow them to take attendance. So this link here, I have this again. I'm going to leave presenter mode. And let's take a look at what this looks like. So this link here where it says install app, I'm going to go ahead and tap on that. And that takes me straight to the attendance page, where I can then see a list of the classes that I can take attendance for. So I'm going to go into that. And now all I have to do is just work my way down the list. And there we go. And now I'm taking attendance from the mobile app. So we're also launching a feature that is a text reminder. So you will have the ability to incorporate that link that I'm showing here on the screen. You incorporate that link into the that deep link into the text reminder so that people are guided directly to the app automatically to take attendance. It's going to be a super seamless process, so you can get text, or excuse me, so you can get attendance quickly. All right. So I think a few questions have been coming in, but we'd love to hear, just beyond questions, what use cases would you guys use, or what have you found, for those of you that have used this? We're really kind of scratching the surface here, but there's all kinds of other features within the app, like tasks, that sort of thing. So we want to hear what else you guys will use this for, and then how do we roll this out? Well, I do want to highlight here up at the top, if you go to our documentation, docs.touchpointsoftware.com, and then just search for deep linking, one word, deep linking, we have a great help article there that will walk you through most of what I've just covered, especially it'll have a full list of all the different deep links. And then go ahead and start incorporating this into some emails, incorporating it into text messages. And then eventually roll it out to the website. Since the links are smart enough now to know where to take people, you can go ahead and get it on the website so that people, when they click on the link, they will be taken to the appropriate section, whether that's the app or a web page. All right. And for anyone on the phone today that is not a current Touchpoint user, or you don't have the mobile application, either way, give us a shout. Go to touchpointsoftware.com/try it, and we'll be happy to give you a full demonstration, one-on-one conversation, so you can get your questions answered. All right, so I know we've had some questions rolling in, so I'm going to kind of open it up. Chris, you want to start talking through some of those?
Yeah, I'll jump in here. We've got some actually really great questions and a lot more pouring in here. So I don't know that we'll get to them all, but if we don't get to them, we will answer them via email afterwards. So the first question here, somebody says, is there a generic app download page or we can use, or do we have to customize that before it's usable? There is a generic one automatically set up for you. So the one that Andrew showed is by default there. If you want to customize that, we actually provide in the documentation the code for that, and you can go in and you can add a special content file to create your own custom version, but there is one automatically by default. So I get another really great question here about the difference between using an authenticated link versus a deep link. Somebody said they don't typically use authenticated links for certain things, like maybe giving, because if those get forwarded, then it potentially allows somebody else to access that person's giving. There is security built in that they couldn't actually access certain things or get any sensitive data from that person's giving, but you are correct that authenticated links, like special links, are linked to the individual who received the email. Deep links are different because deep links open up in your app where you are logged in. So in this case, like where Andrew is showing for giving, if you forwarded that link, then the person would be opening it up in their own app. If they didn't have the app, it would take them to the place where it would download the app, or, and then after they download the app, it would actually prompt them to log in and then take them to the appropriate place. I don't know if we mentioned that, but that's a key thing to mention, is that deep link, if you're not logged in, it will prompt you to log in. And after you log in, it will take you to the appropriate place. So great question there between the differences between deep linking and authenticated links, like special links. So let's see, what are some other questions here? Answered that one. So somebody is asking about links to other deep links. So we do have all the current pages that are supported for deep linking are in the documentation, and we want your feedback. If there are pages that you have found that we don't have deep links for, that you would have uses for, please let us know. In each version of the app that we release, we're going to be supporting more deep links. So there's new functionality that we're working on now for a early fall release, and when that release is there, we're going to have new deep links for that functionality, and we can add deep linking for additional functionality if there's a need for it. So please do let us know. I see a few people have put in some ideas here for other things. So, you know, the best way is probably to notify support, and we have a queue to get those in to the process. So let us know if you have other ideas.
I like this question from Christina. Oh, sorry, Chris.
Yep. No, go ahead, Andrew.
Is update profiles something you should place in your emails? That's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea at all to just kind of make your standard template or include that deep link in a standard template, like in a footer or something, where you would say, hey, click here to update your information. And so that it's almost a constant reminder. Every email that you send out, constant reminder that people can update that information just by clicking on that link. I think that's a clever idea.
So someone here asked about URL shorteners. So you may have heard me talk about this in the webinar 2 weeks ago. We have a built-in URL shortener as part of the SMS feature, because some URLs tend to get really long and we don't want to take up, SMS is limited by a character. Now you actually have a pretty long character limit, but you don't want a super long URL in there. So we built a URL shortener for that. We don't recommend using short links, using deep links with URL shorteners, because the way deep links work is that it kind of redirects things, and that's the same way that URL shorteners, and they can conflict with each other. In other words, some may work, and they may work on some devices, but overall, it's not something that we would recommend. So avoid using URL shorteners, and the way you do that using SMS is if you leave off the HTTP or the HTTPS in your URL, then it will not shorten the URL in our SMS function. And so if you want to use deep linking, just put the link in, don't put the HTTP or HTTPS in the front of it. So somebody is asking about attendance and whether you can send a deep link to individuals so they can check in for an event. So currently that is not supported. We are working on, for our next release, which again will be in early fall, self check-in, and we do plan to have a deep link that will work for taking you to that area within the app. So it's a future enhancement that's coming, but it's currently not available.
Carolyn asks, when using the mobile app, can you register other family members? That's a really good question. That's going to depend more actually on the way that the registration is configured than it is on the deep link itself. So the deep link is going to take you to the registration form, and then if the form is configured properly, then yes, they will be able to register their entire family. So it just, again, it's just going to kind of depend on how you configure the registration itself.
So someone's asking about rollout of SMS. How do you do this appropriately with your congregation? How do you get buy-in on this? Deep linking, I think, is actually using reply words is one of the great ways to kind of soft roll this out. And if you were on the webinar 2 weeks ago, I mentioned this, that I would start small. If you go ahead and start blasting tons of text messages with people, then people will get fatigued with that and be more likely to opt out of those. So I would actually recommend, and I've seen it successful at some churches, is put some of these words up there on your screen, maybe in your live stream, since a lot of churches are still meeting virtually, or if you have screens in your service, your live service, you can put these words up there, and that will, you can set up reply words that then will reply with these deep links. So that's a really powerful way to get people kind of in the habit and used to using SMS within the church. Another thing that you could do is send a message. You could opt people in and send a message saying, you know, this is the message, this is the number that we use for fill in the blank ministry within the church to send messages. If you'd like to continue receiving, you know, you can reply with a word that would opt them into, say, a mailing list or some kind of SMS list. That's is another kind of best practice for that.
I'm seeing a few questions about registrations, so I'm just going to pull up the help article here for just one moment. This is the help article that I referenced a moment ago concerning deep linking, but I just want to point out the registrations here. It's important to have a to include the registration URL or the organization ID. So in this example here, mychurch.app.tpsdb.com or .co/registrations/register/100. In this case, that 100 is the organization ID. So just be sure to add the organization ID to the end of that, and it should work properly. The alternative here is this registrations landing page. That is something that is specific to the app. The registration landing page is going to show the user a list of all of the registrations that are currently available to be registered for. So that's the difference there.
We have a lot of other great questions. Unfortunately, we're over time, so we will answer those via email. Thank you for joining us today, and we'd love your feedback on ways that you've either found deep linking useful in your church or exciting ideas that maybe we didn't cover in today's webinar. So thank you again, and we hope this is a feature that helps you drive adoption into your app and make it easier for your people to get registered, make gifts, and do other things to get connected to your church. So thank you.
Thanks, everybody.